Today, I want to talk about mentorship and what it meant to me outside of traditional mentors. It could be a person, it could be a moment, it could be a software, it could be a job opportunity. There's mentor moments throughout life. So let's get into it. Did you know with an iPhone you can scan your face, scan your body, and apply it to a digital character? When I found this out, my iPhone lets me do 3D. I could have a character on screen. Kind of blew my mind. Did you know in free software like Unreal Engine, you could create characters, you could create their makeup, get as close as to the pores, and customize their skin? All these did you knows, that was my favorite 3-word sentence outside of I love you from my wife when I hear that. But did you know, I kept on saying, did you know? And I started sharing it online. Like, did you know with this software, Polycam, which is free for iOS and Android, you could find something in the real world, scan it on your iPhone, process it in 3D, and then bring it into a 3D program like Cinema 4D to make a piece of artwork. So whether it's a chair you see or a table, did you know? So here in this example, we scanned a statue we saw in the Miami Design District. In Cinema 4D, we built a virtual studio that we could light it, animate it, and bring this statue that we love to life. So all these did you knows led to me posting all these tutorials on Instagram. And this mentorship for me was super helpful, putting out everything I knew, which is whether it was an app to let you capture materials, whether it was an app to show you how I go out into the real world, take photos, and remix them into 3D animations in studios. Posting my knowledge with the questions, did you know, on Instagram spurred a lot. I had co-mentorship, people who were in the same realm DMing me saying, hey, did you know, maybe if you do it like this, it'll work better. Or people who were reaching out like, hey, I didn't know that, thank you for sharing. So on Instagram, if you do follow me, you'll notice I share a lot of knowledge. There's no gatekeeping, whether it's 3D, video, animation. Instagram became my platform to be a mentor to thousands of people with just a click of a button. So this led to me posting more. I saw people wanted to learn more. So whether I'm doing a campaign with Nike, showing them behind the scenes build, hey, an Unreal Engine, if you set it up like this, you could have an animation. Did you know with Spark AR, you can make filters? So there was a while I was making filters on Instagram and sharing it. And one day I wake up to see Zuck liked your reel. Meta has commented. And eventually they would message me and invite me to Meta to their AR summit to work with their new Oculus platform, now the Meta Quest. So just putting myself out there and sharing knowledge opens so many opportunities. So I really encourage, if there's something that you know really well, put it out online, whether it's one person that comments or Mark Zuckerberg who ends up liking your reel and then getting an invite to Meta. There's a lot of opportunity of sharing your knowledge with whatever you specialize in. So I want to take it back now. I was a kid that set up action figures. By a show of hands, did anybody have toys or action figures as a kid and you set them up and you're like, this looks amazing. This is going to be like the battle of all battles. Well, as an adult, I kind of do the same thing in 3D. These action figures I would place in real life are kind of what I now place on digital screens. The ways I would look at my toys as a kid are now the ways I take virtual cameras in softwares and say, okay, this looks awesome for this 3D object. So my childhood had a big influence on what I do today. This collage right here, I'm a Miami guy, born and raised, Miami-Dade County. There's a lot going on here. AI spit it out for me this morning, but I want to kind of break it down. The arcade, I used to hang out at Flippers in Town and Country all day, every day. For anybody that knows the Flippers arcade, show of hands, any Miami, who's born and raised in Miami? Okay, I love to see it. Flippers arcade for me was like the moment I saw everything, whether it was the way these arcades were designed, whether it was the video games and the stories. all the time there. I would live at Sunset Place, which is now a ghost town. The movie theaters was a place where I would gather so much inspiration. Later in my life, at the age of 12, I would touch my first turntable and start scratching and going to Guitar Center by Dayland and entering DJ battles where a 12-year-old's walking up with his mom going against 18 to 21-year-olds in DJ battles. I would later find from vinyl, MP3s, and CD burning. I would fall in love with every digital medium, whether it was video games, whether it was music, whether it was seeing videos on the screen, whether it was listening to Power 96 and hearing mixes that I tried to replicate in my house. All these things influenced me to today. But one that really struck with me, does anybody know what this green logo here? Napster. There you go. Napster, when I was about 12 or 13 years old, introduced me to digital distribution. I didn't know what that, as an adult I know what that is, but as a kid, the idea of being able to share a digital file across the planet at that time was unheard of. It led me to say, what's a .mp3? Oh, that's an audio file. What's a .mov? Oh, that's a movie file. What's a .doc? That's a text file. So all these digital files, I was like, how do I get to make all of them? And that was the moment where I knew digital media and digital creative was really for me. CD burning, I got in big trouble for doing that as a kid. Whether it was going to a store, buying a CD and ripping it. But I do remember a teacher asking me for a mix CD back in the day, so I knew I was onto something. But yeah, I'm a Miami guy, born and raised, and this city has really influenced my creative. Like David said, I've gotten a chance to work at some amazing companies. Fresh out of college with a turntable on my back, I moved to New York City and found myself at Apple, helping them launch their retail stores. I would find a love for teaching at Apple, where I would get the opportunity to teach Final Cut Pro at their theaters at all their stores. I would get to meet Steve Jobs, Johnny Ives, people I looked up to for such a long time. After my stint in New York, I came to these 3 advertising agencies over the last 12 years. The elephant represents Crispin Porter, a big 300-person agency that was here in Coconut Grove that's now gone. And we'll talk about how digital media has changed the industry. I would work at a 10-person agency called Product 81 down here in Wynwood, the street, where we would get our hands dirty. 10-person team, you had to know how to edit, work a camera, and do your thing. And then I would go to Havas, a worldwide agency, to help them open one of their new agencies here in Miami. So across all 4 companies, I found mentors and people that influenced me every step of the way. But I wanted to go on my own around 2021, 2022 as I saw the industry changing. YouTube was coming. Digital media was getting made quicker than it was in the agencies. Feedback loops were too long. So I decided to go on my own. And that brings us to the render, shoot, and repeat. This is from 2015 to today, was kind of my mantra, putting stuff out there, shooting with a camera, rendering on my computer, and repeat. Like the gym, reps in range if you ever worked out. This is my first animation in 2015 in 3D. Not a lot going on here, but in my head I was like, whoa, I just built this loop. I got these spheres that are glowing. I'm able to place the camera below it. This is pretty awesome. I think I love this. And this is before AI image generation. I really found a love for 3D animation and rendering. And at the same time, I was shooting a lot of video, whether it was following my friend Danny Crespo, who's on stage at Rolling Loud with Jaden Smith. He said, hey, I need you here. Whether it was shooting different documentaries with local DJ Irie, who was opening his Irie Foundation, a place for kids to have a place to learn music. Or directing live music videos with local rappers like King Hoodie. And you'll see a repetition. I would render, shoot videos at the agencies I was working at, then come home and render again. But realizing when I was shooting in the real world with the camera, and I would come back to my computer, I said, hey, you remember when you used that 50mm lens? Maybe you do that virtually. Or when we placed the camera down here and we were shooting a super wide landscape, maybe you do that virtually. So as I go through these agencies, I'm behind the camera during the day, shooting, editing, working with people like the Dolphins. I'm on the field with my camera. This is like one of the best things for me. Shooting a bunch of different things from sports to documentary. And again, coming back home and rendering. So maybe it was the football players in the smoke. And I said, you know what? Let me put this guy in a futuristic DeLorean with a helmet and smoke around him, something I kind of learned in the real world. And you'll see, reps and range. Again, making more renders, putting it out there over the years. So what these reps and range did for me was made noise, where people would start reaching out to me. Hey, we like what you're doing with video. We like what you're doing with animation. Can you help us? We need your help making a 3D render. Can you help us? I would keep rendering. I would make short films like Patchy's First Halloween, made in Unreal Engine, a story about a little Halloween doll experiencing his first Halloween in Halloween Town. Weird when you write it on paper, but as it comes to life, it works. These short films not only helped me channel my passions for directing and animation, but it would lead to opportunities down the road. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, with whatever you do, whether it's creative, whether it's building something, whether it's fishing, put your stuff out there and be consistent with it, because you will start seeing motion as you do that. So that's what I did. Over the next 5 to 6 years, I just started posting animation after animation after animation after render. Any idea I had at night, there's a 2-hour window. You got 2 hours, make something and get it online. Whether it's sci-fi, nature, the crate challenge, which was big, with stormtroopers, teaching people how to scan and make your own 3D images, or how to make a metahuman. I just kept on posting and posting and posting. Some got 0 likes, some got 20, some got 1,000. Not everything. No, the stuff that I thought, I'm like, this is gonna break the internet. I post it to get my mom saying, I love you, baby, I'm so proud of you, and that's it. Shout out to my mom, I love you too. But doing this led to New Era Cap reaching out to me. So as I post all this, I decide so many people are reaching out to me, it's time to go on my own. Now, I talked about the companies I worked with and the people I've met. Turns out my cubicle mate at Crispin Porter is now the head management at New Era Cap, and he's been following me online and says, hey, we want to take our baseball caps and put them in space. All we have is photography art caps, what can you do? And this led to a partnership that would allow me to start my studio in 2022. Whether it was taking their hats and putting them in 3D, but this was a perfect opportunity for me, because this is what I was doing in my free time. So for somebody to say, hey, we'll pay you and you have the opportunity to work on your own, it was amazing. And seeing that MLB logo was everything for me. So getting to work with New Era allowed me to show my skill set, build a partnership, and build these worlds without any cameras or sets. So this idea of when I was a kid setting up toys, now I'm doing it again, but on the computer. It would lead to me, again, sharing more. After one business opportunity, sharing more. That's me on a blue screen, and on the right, showing how it could be comped into a 3D scene. Posting that, New Era would reach out and say, hey, we're shooting on green screen. We saw what you did. We want to create a universe where the hats are rooted in lush, mushrooms. The campaign will be called Sprouted. So I said, hey, send me your green screen footage. Let's take it into Unreal Engine. So here you see an example a little bit behind the scenes of taking green screen footage and then building these worlds around the footage that you can move in real time in 3D. So all those days of me shooting at the football stadiums or doing documentaries, in software like this, working in real time, you kind of feel like you're on set. You kind of could move your cameras around, place your actor, change the lighting. So stuff I was learning in the real world with a real video camera was starting to translate into all these digital campaigns. Whether it was building cities for New Era. They said, hey, we need to build a city block during the winter where all the lights are off and only one building is shining with the New Era symbol bright. Okay, we could do it. The reps and range allowed me to be ready for when these opportunities came knocking. So whatever you're doing, whether you have a client or not, I really encourage reps and range to practice your skill set, so when the time comes and a client comes to you, the confidence is so high that you're ready to go. So as I'm building my studio, I keep doing campaigns with New Era. They say, hey, we want to turn an urban environment into a lush cinematic where we have people and our clothing in these environments. So the work kept on coming. Practicing at night, doing my reps and ranges, or translating into client work. And again, making more of my own stuff, putting myself out there. So this is, I'm a Star Trek nerd. I'm a nerdy guy. I'm a sci-fi geek. So just making simple animations, telling stories in 15 to 30 seconds. If you remember earlier in the presentation, I opened with showing you how you could scan your face and scan your body. Well, that's what I did with this. All the face acting, all the body animation was done with my iPhone in my bedroom. No motion capture suits, just YouTube, myself, and some drive and effort. And I had an animated short that when I put out there, sparked more people coming. For example, the company Betterfly. I had an old coworker, and you'll see a theme, an old coworker from Crispin Boguski has now moved over, and now he's managing this company. So a theme I saw in my career, all these places I worked, it's important to make connections, because after you're done working there, people spread out and they go different places. And if you do a really good job of meeting people and not just showing up like it's work in and out, but connecting with people after the office, supporting them in their creator endeavors, it all comes full circle. So an old coworker reaches out to me and says, hey, we want to do this at-a-home campaign, but we don't have money, we don't have licenses, we want to drape the Empire State Building. How can we do that virtually? And the reps and ranges come in here. I say, okay, in 3D, we can scan the buildings, we can build virtual geometry and layer it on top of these buildings and make it seem like this mantra that you want to roll out is really there, right? So the only way I could do this was through the reps and ranges and understanding the 3D workflows and working with other 3D artists who helped with this project. So I love it every time when I see the reflections against the building here of that rolling down, or when we're in Brazil taking over monuments and trying to make it look as realistic as possible. The reps and ranges really helped here. So I know I sound like a broken record, but reps and ranges, again, with whatever you do, is really going to give you the confidence that when these clients or companies come your way, you're ready to sprint and ready to go into action. As a freelancer, there's always a challenge, whether it's, hey, you have this amount of money, 24 to 48 hours, and we need X, Y, and Z. If you do the reps and ranges, you'll be able to accept challenges like those and charge what you're worth. So moving forward, again, I'm a sci-fi nerd. After these brands, I'm keeping the reps and ranges going. Now I'm making sci-fi movies about ChatGPT and robots taking over the world. I don't know if people are gonna like it, but when I'm building it and I'm acting in my room and controlling this character or doing the animations for that scene or building environments, I'm loving what I'm doing. So the reps and ranges are rooted in love, right? If you love what you do, those reps and ranges are pretty easy to do. So again, in my free time, creating sci-fi shorts, sci-fi movies in Unreal Engine. Again, if you remember those toys I was laying out, this is kind of what I imagined as a kid that I'd be able to do in the future. Whether it's a story about a portal jumper who protects the world from these creatures that come through Earth through these portals. All these sci-fi movies included the reps and ranges that gave me the skill set that when another company reached out, I was ready. For example, when Palma reached out and said, hey, we want to take our packaging, which has flamingos and parrots and gradient waters, and we want to create a world to put our packaging in. Those sci-fi movies that I made where I built these worlds, animated the cameras, really gave me the reps and ranges to create just this. So they said, hey, we need a world, we want it to feel lush, we want animated flamingos, we want our product front and center. No problem, we got you. So building worlds, 3D spaces, animation, all was coming together for me from 2015 to today, the last 10 years. Now, we enter a new age this year. I don't know if anybody cares or anybody could tell. These are AI-generated images, right? So now AI is here. So all these renderings is doing over the years. What happens now? Well, I always ask myself, am I generating or am I creating when it comes to AI, right? That's kind of been my base level question. Am I generating or creating? So that Gizmo, Gremlins was one of my favorite movies coming up. Who's seen Gremlins? Any Gremlin fans? Okay. So a lot of these graphics were generated, brought into Photoshop to layer different things together, spit back into the AI, brought into Premiere Pro to change the coloring, add sound, brought into After Effects to tweak some stuff that the AI wasn't looking good. So I think how I see AI, especially for making digital media, it's been like a tool on my tool belt. All these images you see weren't just text to video or spit out. They were done with complete workflows. And if you are into AI or into image generation, I encourage you to reach out to me. I'm always there to answer questions. Hey, how did you make that? If you follow Instagram, my Instagram, you'll usually find a reel that explains it, but sharing this knowledge to me is everything. So, again, the nerd of me coming through. It was a fun thing about these images. All three of them were generated about 20 times. For Gizmo, I had to bring him into Photoshop, put one ear that looked better than the other, paint it in. Maybe the teeth weren't looking right. For the Power Rangers, they don't have mouths, but I was like, you know what? It could be cool if we comp in some mouths. So all these images weren't just spit out. They were done with the reps and ranges of driving through all the software I've learned across the years. For me, mentorship, that's a theme we're talking about this month, doesn't just come in the traditional person-to-person. I've been mentored through moments in my life, right? When I married my wife, that taught me a lot about love and the importance of family. The tools I use, those tools mentored me in the learning curves. How hard is it to learn? Can I push through? What is this software teaching me? It's kind of crazy. What is this software teaching me? I would look at software as a mentor, my tools as a mentor, obstacles in my life when it came to client briefs that were very difficult. What am I learning from this moment? So I always thought about mentorship outside of the traditional mentors, that mentor moments could come at any time if you're looking for it. So all these AI images, I want to encourage people, if you're on the fence of using AI, check it out. It's really fun to use. These have all been through 20 steps of processing, so if your AI doesn't look how you want it, make sure to reach out and I can give you steps if that's something you're interested in. So whether it's AI, whether it's green screen, whether it's 3D, whether it's building environments in programs like Unreal Engine and Cinema 4D, or even grabbing a camera in the real world and shooting and editing and post-production, I've always looked at everything I've learned as my tool belt. I guess I'm the creative plumber. I don't know how to think about it. A creative hardware engineer that I've always envisioned this tool belt with everything I learned is a different notch on my belt. So when clients come to me, it's not saying, hey, I specialize in this one thing. It's more of like, okay, this is your problem. This is how we're going to solve it. Oh, you want to make a 3D animation? Well, let's use Premiere, Unreal Engine, Cinema 4D to do it. Oh, you want to shoot a video? Great. We'll take our Canon camera, our knowledge of post-production, and do it. So my whole life, since I was a little kid playing with those toys, touching turntables, ripping songs off Napster, burning CDs and bribing my teachers with CD mixes, I've always envisioned this tool belt. So I encourage you with whatever you're doing, whether it's digital media, creative, starting your own business. My best friend Matt here, when I was on the fence of jumping on my own, he gave me the encouragement. He's a fisherman. He runs charter fishermen, so his skill set is completely different from mine, but I see he does the same thing, learns different skills and builds his tool belt. So I encourage you with whatever you do, build your tool belt so you can solve problems for your potential clients or even yourself. So again, traditional mentors, I do want to say across my 12 to 15 years in advertising, I've had a lot of them, a lot of great mentors. So I definitely encourage you to find a mentor, mentor yourself, because there's a lot of magic that happens when you do that. To me, the one most magical thing in mentorship was opportunity. When I started mentoring people online, they would give me opportunity. When I had mentors in real life, they would give me opportunity. So if you're not yet found a mentor, or you're still looking for one, or want to connect with me and I could be your mentor as of today, I encourage you to do just that. I also have my 4 mentor mindsets when I'm doing stuff, and we spoke about this briefly, but when you're doing something, ask, what's this teaching me in real time? I do that all the time when I'm learning a new software, or when I'm talking with a client, or where I'm in a meeting and they're killing all the work, saying, hey, this creative doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. There's still teaching moments throughout everything you do. So ask yourself, what's this teaching me in real time when you're in a moment that feels right to your industry? Prototype in public. So I spoke a lot today about putting myself there online. Not all of it was the best. I got a lot of messages that were like, hey, this would be way better if you did it this way. Kind of like, shut up, but it did help me in the beginning. So I encourage you to, whatever you're doing, to prototype in public. This is gonna, 1, put your skill set on the forefront, whether you're at the beginning or the advanced stage. It's gonna get people tuned in to what you're doing. And most importantly, it's gonna help you build your skill set as you keep prototyping, just getting better and better and better. Archive everything. Your past self is tomorrow's mentor. So I look at work from 6 to 7 years ago that I have saved in my hard drives that have taught me a lot. You were doing this way wrong in the past, or actually, you were doing this way better in the past. There's a lot of lessons I've learned when I look at some of my work from the past. And return the favor. Mentor often, mentor early. I encourage everybody to mentor somebody, because it's a very rewarding feeling when the person you've mentored has turned it in to something of their own. And a lot of times they're going to reach back out to you and bring you back into the loop. So I encourage everybody, find me on Instagram at the David Turk, whether it's me sharing an animated short I made, whether it's AI generated image, or a reel, all my tutorials to teach you. I will be there if you DM me and say, hey, I need your help, or I'm trying to learn, because for me, mentoring online and teaching people is everything. So definitely give me a follow. Send me a message if this is an area you're interested, or if you work in a completely different area, maybe it's not digital media and you need some advice of how to go on your own. How did you get clients? How did you invoice clients? I'm there for you. At Crispin Porter, I wasn't a creative. I spent 4 years in account management, the opposite of creative. I said, you know what? I'm doing DJing, I'm doing 3D stuff at home. Let me learn what it takes to communicate to clients and creative at the same time. Those 4 years at Crispin Porter in account management taught me a lot about creativity in a way that I didn't see possible. How do you talk to creatives? I would see people walk into a room, client said this, we need that. And that was like stake to the heart to these creatives. But if you come in there, hang out with them, talk to them, see what their passions are, what they're excited about, and defend them against clients, that to me was a huge lesson. So if you're starting a fishing business, if you're starting an interior architect business, if you're starting a cooking business, it doesn't have to be Gremlins, sci-fi, 3D. Reach out and I'll make sure to point you in the direction of tools, resources, and things that helped me. On my website, we go by DTC, David Turk Creative. You can see more of the branded work we've done. So definitely check out David Turk Creative if you want to see a little more of the work I shared today with audio, full post-production, and get the whole feel for it. So, I know I threw a lot at you today. Again, I encourage you to scan the QR code, follow on Instagram. If I could give you one thing to take away from, reps and ranges in whatever you do. Put in the reps and your range is gonna start growing. People are gonna start reaching out to you. Things will happen. I'm a student of YouTube. In 2012, when I joined an agency, Crispin Porter, I saw a 350-person agency dwindle into an empty office. I saw digital media coming up on the rise, and that was something I knew I really wanted to be a part. And now we're here today with AI and all this opportunity to post your stuff online that I encourage, whether you're at a studio by yourself, please reach out and I'll be there to help. So that's my talk today. I know it's quickening. Yeah, thank you.